Rolling!
Hey everybody, it's Hannah with 4-Star Ninja Academy, and I'm going to be doing your walkthrough for the 7U, 9U FINA Endurance course. Obstacle 1, we've got the quad roller. Clear. Obstacle 2, the devil steps. Clear. Obstacle 3, the ring. Obstacle 4. Clear. Obstacle 5, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
The agility. Clear. Obstacle 6, the alley. Clear. Obstacle 7, cannonballs. Obstacle 8, pegs. Clear. Obstacle 9, got the ring swing to the swirls. Obstacle 9,
10.
10. Clear. Obstacle 11. And obstacle 12, the warp wall.
Hey everybody, Dustin Jelmstead here with 4-Star Ninja Academy to give you the rules for the 7U, 9U FINA Endurance course for this weekend. So, with our first obstacle, we will all be starting up on top of this A-frame. You will start with your rope in your hand. What we are doing is swinging out onto the quad roller. So it is a quad step with our rollers on that. You are gonna fling into this to roll that over to your orange pad, making your way off the gray pad over to this orange pad. So your point A is the A-frame, and your point B is coming over to the starting block of your devil steps. Hands and feet are allowed on this obstacle for the first one. Then we are making our way over to our devil steps. Devil steps, we will have a box there for those that need it. We are using the orange steps. You can do the steps however you want, forwards, backwards, sideways, however you want to get through the devil steps, making our way down over to this orange pad right here. This is your point B, and then becomes point A of your third obstacle, which is a big run of grip. So we've got our rings, which is the first half. So this is considered two separate obstacles, but there is no transition block halfway, and we will point off where the second obstacle starts. So making your way through the rings, only the rings are allowed, no straps are allowed. Making our way through those rings. When we get over to this first T-hold right here, that is the end of the ring obstacle and the start of your next grip obstacle. All right, so if you were to make your way across those rings, and let's say you were to fail the rings, you are allowed to use this orange transition block to jump up and start the second part of this obstacle, which starts with the T-hold. So you will not get a point for the rings, but you will still be allowed to get your point for the second part of this obstacle. If you fail the grips, the second part of the grip obstacle, you will still get a point for the rings. You just will not get a point for that second part of the obstacle, but it is designed so that you have to go through the whole run in order to get both points. All right, so making our way on to our point B of the whole grip run, which is gonna be this gray pad right here. All right, so landing on this gray pad, we're not going on and past. You have to control your landing, land on this because this becomes your point A of your next obstacle.
I was waving at myself in the mirror.
Which is our agility. So with our agility, you're only allowed to use the tops of the butcher blocks, so the orange painted part of the blocks. The base and wood structure is not allowed, so only the tops of these. Making our way over to the quad steps. We've got our 2 heavy bags onto our A-frames, making our way across the A-frames onto this orange pad right here, the slanted one. These side pads will have blue tape on them with X's signifying they are a no-go. So only the slanted orange pad. These are just here to stabilize this pad. Your point B of the agility then is making our way onto this big gray pad right here. All right?
Are hands and feet allowed on the quad steps and the A-frames?
Yes, hands and feet are allowed, but the wood bases of the A-frames are off limits. So down here, this is considered part of the ground. Any part of the A-frame here is allowed hands and feet. Great question. Then we are making our way into Lachey Alley. We have 4-foot Lacheys. There are 4 bars set up. Point A, starting on that orange pad, making our way over to the big blue crash pad at the end. You are only allowed the metal Lachey bars coming through to this blue pad right here. Once you are on this blue pad, you're gonna make your way up to the next obstacle, onto this double orange transition block stack right here. And we have our cannonballs. So this obstacle here is gonna be similar to the grips that we had previously. This is 2 obstacles, that's 4. 2 obstacles with completing it will be the start of the next obstacle. So getting onto the cannonballs, we are only allowed to grab the color part of those cannonballs. We're not allowed to grab the eye bolts or straps or carabiners, only the orange part, or the red part, excuse me. Making our way over to here, where you are allowed to use this post to transition into the second part of your obstacle. Once you make contact with that first peg, you will have completed the cannonballs, and that will then begin your peg obstacle on the green balls here. So, continuing on through the pegs, you are allowed to use both the pegs as well as the green balls if you so choose. So let's say a peg were to accidentally pull one out, you are allowed to use that green ball to continue on. It is just a more challenging grip. Making our way over to this orange dismount pad right here, and then we're moving on to our next obstacle. So our next obstacle, we're going to take this ring. You are allowed to use any part of this area over here to get a run, and we are swinging over to this post, onto this orange pad, and then continuing on through the flying squirrels. You will complete that obstacle when you make contact with this, when you get onto this orange pad right here. So your point A is back there with the ring across. Point B is when you complete the squirrels. Our next obstacle, our balance obstacle here is going to be the slack line. Posts are allowed for safety purposes. So with the slack line, the black box will be here. For 9U, the black box will be slightly moved out further. So right now it's set up at halfway for our 7Us. So they can step out, get onto that black box, hands and feet are allowed, and then making our way over to this orange pad. We are not allowed to dismount over here. This would result in a fail. So we are going to this orange pad, where then we can cut around this post, making our way to our 11th obstacle, which is a agility balance run here. The first or the point A of this obstacle is going to be this first blue ice cube, we call them. So we are not allowed to skip right over to here. You do have to begin on this first ice cube. When you make contact with this ice cube, then we can start this obstacle. Making our way through. We can use hands and feet to help ourselves get up to this floating monkey bar. With this monkey bar, it does come out, so be very careful when you grab that, not to pull that out. So you can use your hands and feet as Hannah demonstrated. Swinging over to our A-frames. I should have mentioned as we started this one, the only place that you are allowed to use your hands on this run are on our floating monkey bars or this post to get up to the floating monkey bars. But the A-frames, the agility boxes here, and continuing on is going to be all lower body only. So that means our waist down is the only thing that we can use. So if we bring our hands down, come down to here, and use our hands on top of these A-frames, that would result in a fail. So we have to remain on our feet. Coming over, same thing as we go down to our squishy steps. Lower body only. If we were to drop down to our hands, that would result in a fail. Your point B of this obstacle is this gray pad right here. Once you're on this gray pad, we have our final obstacle, which is the warped walls. The warp walls, before I move on to the warp walls, the 9U. One minor change for the 9U is that this A-frame will not be straight, it will be sideways. So it's a little bit further dismount to this A-frame, then we are continuing on. Again, still same rules, lower body only on these A-frames. Final obstacle is our warp walls. For 7U, we will have both rings available there. We need to make our way up on top of that warp wall. For 9U, the top ring, only one ring will be available, so that bottom ring is going to get removed, and then making your way up on top of that warp wall. Once you're on top of that warp wall, that will complete your endurance run. Again, it's 12 obstacles. This is for 7U, 9U. Good luck, everybody.